Family, I want you to take a good look at the article on the screen here. And we got to cover this because, as you all know, the rainbow agenda is in full swing, especially targeting black children, particularly little black boys, with campaigns about boys can be princesses too. A lot of people are probably going to start doing this very soon here in the US. So we got to take a look at something that happened in the UK. It's better to be ahead of the curve than behind it. As the article says in the title, how a pro pedophile group lobbied the government to legalize sex with children in the 70s and 80s. Now, take a look at this piece of shit right here. Tom OCarroll, former Pi member, Pi leader rather. And this pic from the Western Mail Archives is showing his sick looking face. Take a good look at it. Okay, he's even got a pedophile mustache going on. But let's get into this article, man. Shocking details about how a pro-pedophile group lobbied the government to legalize sex with children has resurfaced. The independent inquiry into child sexual abuse has realized a scathing report about how the Westminster political establishment spent decades turning a blind eye. How you turn a blind eye to something like this? To allegations of child sexual abuse, with high-profile politicians protected from police action as whips sought to avoid gossip and scandal, which would damage the parties. See, they was worried more about their political group than anything else. Part of the report focused on the Pedophile Information Exchange. That's what PI stands for, Pedophile Information Exchange, which operated between 1974 and 1984 and ultimately campaigned to normalize sex between adults and children. It was brazen about this. Keith Holmes, one of its leaders, was once quoted saying, "I am a pedophile. I am attracted to boys from about 10, 11, and 12 years of age, and I may have had sexual relations with children, but it would be unwise to say." Man, before I go on any further into this article, y'all better pay attention to this. Because, see, what they try to do is play games with semantics, and they're actively trying to get certain terms into the American Medical Association journal and everything so that they can use that to try to get these laws on the books. Let's continue reading. Though the report found Pi had no funding links to the Home Office, as had been previously alleged, it detailed how the group managed to enter mainstream consciousness. Here's a rundown of the key points raised in the report. We got to run through these real quick. I want you all to pay attention to this and think. What did Pi campaign for? It openly campaigned for the lowering of the age of consent, the report said, and made concerted efforts to normalize and justify relationships between adults and children. Sound familiar in these black YouTube streets? Yeah. So, among its activities was offered support to adults in legal difficulties concerning sexual acts with consenting underage partners. My thing is, if that's what you're doing, if you're a rapist and you out here trying to molest kids, there's only one form of rehabilitation for you, and it's 6 feet under. So, let's continue reading here. How many members did it have? At its height in around 1978, the report said it seems that Pi had some 300 members total. Go ahead and triple that, because I guarantee you some politicians were in on this for this to even be attempted. How did it gain traction? That's what we're about to get into now. Take a good look at this photo here. This is Tory MP Jeffrey Dickens, a campaigner, Mary Whitehouse, and Charles Oxley were among those who fought Pi. Okay. They fought against it, apparently. All right, but let's continue reading. The report said Pi's message was accepted as a legitimate voice of oppressed sexual minority. Man, get out of here with that. See, that's that terminology we better start looking out for, because it's coming. By respected and well-established civil society organizations such as the National Council for Civil Liberties. See how they try to mix that in? That's what they're trying to do that now. They're trying to mix that in with civil rights and everything. They're going to be doing that heavy over here. They're already trying it. Now known as Liberty and the Albany Trust, a special counseling and psychotherapy charity. Both organizations in their 2020 forms strongly distanced themselves from their past associations and evidence submitted to the report. Okay, what sort of things did it say? In 1975, Pi shareholders made a speech at the annual campaign for homosexual equality conference calling for a more sympathetic approach to people with pedophilic tendencies. Nah, bruh. Nah, we can't let that get off the ground over here. We got to fight this tooth and nail in black society. I don't know what the hell every other society gonna do, but that's what we need to be on to protect our children. The following year, it launched a magazine entitled Understanding Pedophilia. There's really only one way to understand it. You're sick and you need to be dealt with, which was renamed Magpie in 1977. This was published until 1983, and the report states was brazen in its promotion of sexual activity with children. It included photographs or drawings of children in provocative poses alongside academic-style articles. Y'all see what I'm talking about? How did it lobby the government? Very important question. In 1975, Pi submitted a paper to the Home Office's Criminal Law Revision Committee proposing the abolition of age of consent and removal of sexual activity between adults and children from criminal law. In 1978, it published a booklet entitled Pedophilia, Some Questions and Answers. This was given to every MP and peer in Parliament, as well as media outlets and civil rights campaigners. Y'all see how they try to pull that move? They're working on this now here in the U.S. Be ahead of the curve. Did this have any impact? The report said the evidence we have even suggests that Pi did not make much impact through these efforts, apart from briefly amongst certain civil liberation organizations and some gay rights campaigners. Now, before we get on to the next section of this, that's bullshit, because see, when you see these pedophiles getting off with different things in these different countries, they've got to have people in high places supporting them. So hold that thought. Why wasn't Pi banned? Good question. Just as I just said here, I want y'all to hold that thought about who all is holding these political offices. And there's a Michael Swift document that you all need to check out. Shout out to Brother George Macon. He did some content on that. I suggest you all go over to his channel and look for that video entitled The Michael Swift Document. But reading further here, the government discussed this in 1983. Evidence suggested. Then Home Secretary Leon Britton decided not to, however, citing legal difficulties and questioning whether it was necessary, given that by 1983 its influence has largely disappeared as a result of the criminal prosecutions of 3 members, including Secretary Tom OCarroll in 1981. There was no hint of sympathy on Bratton's part, the report added. Now, family, I just went over this with you all for a reason. And that reason is, like I said, on my channel, I don't give a damn who this offends. My concern is black society. We need to be looking out for these things. And when you have information on something, you act on it. So, what y'all need to be doing out here, whatever state you're in, if you go into these city council meetings, you need to go ahead and hit them in the face with this, even if it doesn't look like it's where you are. Y'all, we're going to have to start taking a stand against this stuff, man. We can't worry about what other communities do. We got to make our voices heard and stand up against this kind of bullshit, because it's coming. We already see what they're trying to do with this. Anytime you try to speak out about something, they try to mix it in with civil rights and try to make it sound like you all types of phobic and labels. I'm going to cover a podcast on that labeling thing too, because see, we got to get out of giving these little labels they give us power to try to silence us and to going along with things that we know are not right in any sense. If you're not going to protect anything in this world, you better protect your children out of your black family. So I'm going to close this out right here. As usual, I'm going to put a link to this article in the description so you all can check it out for yourself anytime you're on my channel. I will always provide sources for you to do your own research on things and check it out from your own point of view. Whether you agree with it, disagree with it, I want you to check out the information. Black society has to stop being uninformed on things. We can't be the last to know everything. We cannot afford that. The hour is too late in our history. So that being said, as always, take care. I'll see you all in another video.